Hey guys, I'm Erik Peterson and I'm a men's dating and relationship coach for 𝗧𝗵𝗲 and today's attraction tips video is called Red Flags and Trusting Women. Now, one of the more common questions I get from you guys is, Coach, how do I know if I could trust her? And that's something that makes all of us at least a little nervous, as no one wants to invest their time and emotions into someone that they can't trust. And we tend to feel pretty stupid for trusting someone who turns out to be not very trustworthy at all. But it's not necessarily your fault. People can be deceptive, and especially in the very early stages of dating, we all tend to show our best side, and the real person begins to slowly emerge somewhere between the 3 to 6 month mark. Though it's said that the honeymoon phase of a relationship can last up to 2 years. This basically means that you don't know 100% whether or not you're seeing her true colors for the first 2 years of a relationship. And biologically speaking, the love, infatuation, and that new relationship energy we feel in a relationship is nature's way of making sure that we make babies in order to perpetuate the species. All those love chemicals begin to fill our brains, making us feel love. It really is like a drug that we get addicted to. I mean, who doesn't love the feeling of being in love? It causes people to do some pretty crazy shit. And it could cause people to uproot their life and move to the other side of the planet. It could cause people to blow off their friends and family. In some cases, it could even cause people to literally kill another human being. It's all done to feel those intoxicating chemicals that will be flowing through our veins. Now, those chemicals are released in even greater quantities after we have sex, especially in women. This is part of the reason why after you have slept with a woman a couple of times, she begins to become very attached. Again, it's nature's way of being sure we're making babies, and nature's way of being sure we stay together in order to raise those babies to be independent individuals in order to start the whole process all over again. It's essentially all smoke and mirrors for the first year or so, and true deep love comes along after that if the two people figure out a way to stay together and love each other despite all the challenges. However, one of the biggest, most important hurdles to make a long-term relationship or marriage successful is trust. You can't dedicate your life to someone whom you can't trust. One of the most important traits a man looks for in a woman is loyalty. And loyalty isn't just her being faithful, but it's also her having your back, her being supportive, and of course being able to trust her. But how do you know if you could actually trust a woman? I mean, we've all had our heart broken before. We've all been screwed over by a woman in some way or shape. And for most of us, this has happened multiple times. It's easy to conclude that the current or next relationship won't be any different. At some point, she's going to yank the rug out from under us, and we'll be left feeling played and stupid all over again, angry at ourselves for trusting her. Am I right? And because of that intense love we feel, all those love chemicals flowing through our brain, we often overlook the red flags and a woman violating our trust in her. So in this attraction tips video, I'm going to be discussing how to know if you could trust a woman and how important it is to pay attention to red flags, which is something a large majority of us ignore, and we're left being surprised when we get our heart broken. But if you guys need my personal help and you're interested in some private coaching, please head over to my website at 𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗧𝗵𝗀, click on the coaching tab, and there you'll see that I have several options for you to choose from. I offer standard email coaching as well as emergency email coaching, which includes a response from me on weekends and holidays. And I also offer both bi-weekly and monthly email coaching where I'll work with you throughout that time period. Additionally, I offer phone coaching for my North American clients. All of you outside North America, I will have something for you this week, so just hang in there. But if you can't wait, email coaching is the way to go. And I'll post a link to both my contact page and my coaching page in the description down below. Now, being able to trust a woman, or really anyone, is a very important part of any relationship, whether it be romantic, platonic, business-related, or even a sexual relationship. Without some level of significant trust, the relationship will be filled with arguments, bickering, controlling behavior, neediness. I mean, it's just really unhealthy, and while the relationship can last, it won't be a happy one. In fact, most couples who stay together and who have little to no trust in each other, they typically stay together out of codependency, which is also a very unhealthy, and it's weakness. But how do you know if you could trust a woman? Well, you don't know. And only time and going through rough patches in the relationship will you learn whether or not you can really trust her. So what do? Trust is earned, right? Well, they say that the best way for someone to earn your trust is by you trusting them. You give them enough rope to hang themselves, and they'll either show you that they could be trusted, or they'll actually hang themselves. Not literally, of course. Unfortunately, for most of us, they won't show their true colors until you're already emotionally invested, which makes having your trust in someone broken that much more devastating. I mean, I was with a girl once who I thought was the real deal, meaning I thought I was going to end up spending the rest of my life with her. We were together for years, and she never gave me any real reason not to trust her. Even if I had suspicions and confronted her about them, she just had a way where she would just clear it up, where I felt like I was just being ridiculous. I mean, I'm not at all a jealous person, so for me to even bring up a suspicion about something going on behind my back with another dude was way out of the ordinary for me. It wasn't until she was quite drunk one night and it just slipped out. And it turns out she had been lying to me for years, and I was shocked, especially because what she was lying about, she had been accusing me of for years, saying that she didn't trust me. Now, of course, I know why she was accusing me, because she was the one doing it herself. Sadly, it was a big enough lie where I'd never be able to trust her again, and unfortunately, I had to end the relationship immediately. And that really stung, because I loved her deeply and thought the relationship was meant to be. However, after I began looking back at some of our conversations and the things that she told me in the past, there were red flags. There were little red flags, not big ones, but had I not written them off as no big deal at the time, or at the very least questioned her about them, I may have found out much sooner rather than wasting years of my life on her. Of course, after I realized the red flags, then I became very angry myself. I mean, how could I miss these? Or maybe I just ignore them, which is what most people do when they notice red flags with someone that they really like or that they love. We often tend to ignore these red flags because the connection is just so good, or we're in love with them, or the sex is amazing. And we trick ourselves into believing that we'll never do any better, or we'll never find a woman like her again. Basically, the universe is warning us, but we don't want to hear it. I mean, we've finally met the one. But the truth is, if you were able to attract a woman as good as her in the first place, as beautiful as her, as sexy as her, you were able to do it one time, you'll be able to do it again. It's not a fluke. I mean, think about your past breakups where you felt the same thing. You were thinking, oh my God, my life is over. I'll never meet a girl like her again. And then several months or several years later, you're with an even better woman, a more beautiful woman, a woman that just knows how to rock your world in the bedroom like no other. I mean, it will happen if you don't let yourself go, which is something else that many people do after a breakup. Don't let yourself go because you're feeling sad and feeling sorry for yourself. Anyway, my point is there will be red flags and you cannot ignore them. Like I said, the universe is warning you that whatever that red flag is, it's something that you should consider and take very seriously. In my situation, the girl lied to everyone, her family, her friends, her children. I mean, how could I be so stupid? And I did confront her on her lying at one time, but you know, that sweet little innocent voice assured me that it's different with us. I mean, at the time, I hadn't busted her on any other lies, so her excuse made sense to me at the time. I kept my eyes open, but I wasn't picking up on anything significant. Besides maybe a few little white lies, but everyone spouts off little white lies occasionally, so I didn't see that as a big deal. Clearly, I was ignoring what I didn't want to hear. And luckily for you guys, my mistakes are your lessons. So my point with all this is pay attention to red flags. Do not ignore them just because you really like her or because you believe she's the best you've done so far. You will pay the price at some point, and it won't be pretty. However, you also want to keep in mind that red flags don't necessarily mean that she's not good for you. They simply mean that it's something you need to pay attention to and either look deeper into it or keep your eyes open moving forward. And when you do notice a red flag, if it's significant, it's best that you confront her on them. You don't need to like get up in her face and be a jerk about it or anything like that. Just calmly ask her about it. There's a chance that she won't be completely forthcoming, as is the case with the woman in my situation wasn't, but you can't take her words at face value. As men, we typically take words at face value because, you know, we mean what we say and we say what we mean. But women don't always say what they mean. This is yet another reason why it's important that you pay more attention to her actions and less attention to her words. In my case, had I paid more attention to her actions, I would have had my answer. And at that time, I probably should have walked away. But I didn't, and I paid the price. But I also learned a very valuable lesson. Just because she's sweet, beautiful, and I loved her a lot, doesn't mean that she's an honest person. And the same goes for you in your relationships. So moving forward, give your girl your trust, but do it objectively. Don't give her your complete trust until she proves that you can trust her 100%. You want a girl who is going to be loyal to you and the relationship. That even if it's something that you're not going to want to hear, she'll be honest with you regardless, because that's what loyal people who have integrity and are honest, that's what we do. We admit our mistakes, we take accountability despite the consequences. In my situation, she knew what she was doing was wrong, or she wouldn't have lied to me about it for years. But the funny thing is, had she just been honest with me from the beginning, we probably would have been able to work through it and maybe even still be together to this day. So, and you want to be sure that you do not ignore those red flags, like I said. I can't say that enough. They're presented to you for a reason. Like I said, it's the universe warning you. I think it was Maya Angelou who once said something like, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And you just have to be sure that you're not misunderstanding it either. So this is why you ask her about whatever red flags you notice and why you watch her and see if she's being honest with you. I can't tell you how many times or how much heartbreak I could have saved myself from had I not ignored the red flags, whether I ignore them consciously or not. I ended up paying the price for it. Many people ignore red flags and end up getting married, only to find out later that the person that they married is just not the person whom they thought they were. I mean, imagine getting married and having kids and finding out that your girl lies, cheats, or steals. I mean, what a mess that would be. And we all know that the courts typically side with women, so not only will you get your heart stomped on, but it will most likely cost you a fortune as well. And maybe you may not even get to see your kids. All because you ignore red flags and you ignored her actions when she was showing you that she can't be trusted. So, if you found this video helpful, or any of my videos helpful, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and for you to share it with any of your friends and family. And I'd also really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button down below and tick that little bell symbol next to it so you get real-time notifications of when I upload new videos. And in the description down below, not only will I have a link to both my contact page and my coaching page, I also have a link to some recommended reading of some great books that will really help you further understand how attraction works and understanding the masculine-feminine dynamics in relationships. But I also have a link to PayPal or my Bitcoin wallet address if you deem this video worthy of a donation. So that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.